Hey everyone, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel and to my September wrap up. Finally. September was an interesting month. Like I had some pretty high goals, but I also knew that I was going to be on vacation for a week. And so I probably wasn't going to get all of the books that I wanted to read, which is why my October TBR is very similar to my September TBR because I carried over a lot of books, which is fine. It happens. It is what it is. I don't really mind too much when I don't hit all of my TBR plans. So in September, I read 5 books. I think, did I carry any over from August? I don't think I did. I'm not positive though. I know I carried books from September over into October, but it doesn't really matter. 5 books completed in September. First up, I read book 3 in the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn, which is An Offer from a Gentleman. I gave that 4 stars. So in book 3, you follow the second Bridgerton son, Benedict, and kind of his relationship. So you have Benedict and then you have Sophie Beckett. And Sophie Beckett is not of the same social class as Benedict, which back in that time was a big deal. She this book gave me such strong Cinderella vibes. It had to be intentional because basically Sophie Beckett is the stepdaughter of is the illegitimate stepdaughter of some evil stepmother. I don't remember the stepmother's name. And basically her father took her in when her mother passed away. Sophie's mother passed away. Her father took her in and just kind of said oh, this is my ward. And she had a decent life until her father remarried this woman who was the evil stepmother in Cinderella and her 2 daughters. And when Sophie's father passed away, basically he left a condition in his will, basically was you have to take care of Sophie. And basically her stepmother did the bare minimum to uphold that so that she could not be cut off from her former husband's wealth. So Sophie has this really hard childhood, ends up sneaking into some party with the assistance of some of the other people that live that are employees of their house, and meets Benedict but can't say who she is, any of that stuff. It was a masquerade ball, and then some stuff happens. Sophie ends up leaving town, and basically you flash forward 3 years or something, and Sophie and Benedict, their paths cross again, and Benedict doesn't know who she is, and all of this stuff ensues. So, and then you follow their relationship. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, but the parallels to Cinderella were just so hard. That kind of, I was this is a direct ripoff of Cinderella, and which it's fine, but it was really hard for me to get into it a little bit at first because I was just this is basically the Cinderella story. But once I kind of got past the beginning, which was super Cinderella-y, I really enjoyed it. So a good book in the series. I will be continuing on in the series eventually. I don't know if I'll continue on in the fall, maybe the winter. I don't know. So that was that. Then I read Dear Edward by Anne Napolitano. I don't know how to say her last name. My mother-in-law has borrowed my copy of it, so here's a picture. I listened to this and it was good. I gave it 4 stars as well. In this, you follow Edward Adler, who is a 12-year-old boy, and he's the lone survivor of a plane crash. His entire family passes away in this plane crash, and everyone else on board. I want to say there's close to 200 people that die. I want to say like 193, but that might be wrong. And he's the sole survivor of this plane crash. And all like, so he's like instantly famous. Like all of these people, like news channels, like, you know, everyone like wants to like follow his life basically. And so he ends up going and living with his aunt and uncle in New Jersey maybe, and they're trying to like shield him from all of the media trying to like reach out to him. They try and shield him from all of these like letters that he's getting from like the family of the like victims of this plane crash, all of that. And you kind of follow him from like the time of the plane crash, I think, like, so he's 12 all the way, I believe, through high school. So it's like over like a 6 or 7 year span. And then you also like kind of interwoven is the events leading up to the plane crash. So then like all of the passenger, not, you follow like a handful of passengers, but them like boarding the plane and like the events of the plane crash, like all of the thoughts that a few of these travelers have during the like events leading up to the plane crash. So it was good. It was sad, and like I was reading it right around September 11th, which was not intentional, but it really made you like it was very, because of, you know, what September 11th is and planes being involved in that, it like really was like, I'm terrified to travel. Like I'm never getting on a plane again, even though Dear Edward, while fictional, like is fictional, but it is based on other like plane crashes. And then like, you know, everything that happened with 9/11, like, yeah, terrifying. Even though planes are a much safer mode of travel than like cars. Anyways, very good, very heartwarming. Like it was a good story, and like having the perspective of this like 12-year-old boy whose entire life, like, I mean, changed instantly. He lost his parents, he lost his only sibling, and he feels like, and like the stuff that he's going through, like I think he was like Eddie before, and then like started going by Edward after, and like just like that was very telling of like how he changed because of this event. And so it was a very good read, but not light, if that makes sense. So then I read The Lies of Lockemora by Scott Lynch. John and I listened to this on our car ride to Tennessee, and it was one of the books that John challenged me to read this year. I have 2 of those left, so I need to get on that. He's finished all of the books that I've challenged him to read, so I'm definitely taking my time here, but there was no like time limit other than this year, so I still have 2.5 months. Listened to this, and it was good. Like John had said when we were packing up, getting ready to leave, he's like, oh, do you want to bring the book? I was like, no, it'll be fine. Like, I'll just listen to it. No, I really wish that I had brought this, because sometimes it's just easier to like look up things or like, you know, kind of follow along while we were listening. But having him there, he's read it, and I think he had listened to the audiobook. So this was like his maybe 3rd time. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was like his 3rd like read through of it. So he was able to like tell me what was going on, if I like missed anything, and answer all my questions. So it was a good listen. I really enjoyed the narrator. Something that I will say, let me tell you what it's about first. So you're following Locke Lamora. He is like an orphan who kind of gets like taken in by this like gang leader, like by this gang, and he learns how to like be a thief. And he so that's like one aspect of the story, is him like being taken in by this gang and kind of learning how to become a thief. And then you have like the like present day where him and this gang are like in the middle of this big like heist isn't the right word, but like this big con to try and like steal all this money. And events transpire during that, and like there's like all of these like things that end up happening. So there's like this con, and then like he gets like asked to like perform this other con, like a con within a con. It was like there was a lot of stuff going on. So I'm not doing a great job of explaining what was going on, but there's a lot. I will say I wish that like, and I probably will read this physically because there are two different timelines. And I was getting confused a little bit listening to it, trying to figure out what timeline we were in, whether we were in like the past or the present. And I think it would have been easier to tell if I was reading physically. Like it wasn't enough like that it was throwing me off like and making me not enjoy it, but I was like, John, is this like present time or the past? So like I had to ask that a couple times. But again, I think that like if I was reading it physically, that wouldn't have been a problem. This drops the F-bomb a lot, which doesn't bother me, but might bother some people. This is a fantasy. I don't know if I said that, but it is fantasy. And like the city atmosphere is really cool. Like it's very like Venice-y vibes. Like on the water, there's like channels, like a river running through town, things like that. Very cool setting. I loved the gang, the like friend group, if you will. Oh, there's this one scene. I can't even tell you because it's like major spoilers, but there's one scene that just like breaks your heart, like made me like almost tear up, like so sad, so sweet. Like, I don't think there's been many fantasy books that have like got to me the way that this one, that one part did. So very overall, like a very good story. I will probably try and read it physically before moving on and reading, what's the next one? Red Seas Under Red Skies, which I believe is very like set on a ship. So enjoyed it, but do want to read it physically to pick up on some of the stuff that I missed listening to the audio. Then I read Mistletoe and Mayhem by London Lovett, book 3 in the Port Danby series. I also read this while on vacation. This was my physical read. A really nice, cute next book in a series. So in this one, it is Christmas time, and the town, Port Danby, is getting ready for this like holiday light, like festival, like I guess what's the word? Oh, flotilla, the flotilla. So all these like ships are out like in the ocean and like light, like, you know, put lights up, have this big light show thing. And there's also a like window display competition going on to like decorate for the holidays, which doesn't really play into the story that much, like the murder, but was really fun to read about because it's like the inner workings of a small town, and this window display is a big deal, and it was cute to read about. So one of the owners of one of the boats that is in town for this flotilla ends up dead, and Lacey ends up helping solve the case. And that is something that I love about the series, is in a lot of cozy mysteries, like the protagonist is kind of like investigating the murder, like kind of against the like law enforcement's will, like, oh, you really shouldn't investigate. But like in the Port Danby series, the detective is like kind of like in like asks her to help, like says like, hey, can you come like see what you can pick up with your sniffer. I also love this because in this one, Lacey is trying to come up with a name for her nose, which was just really cute. And like, she's like trying out all these names, and she's like, no, that's too long. Like, oh no, that doesn't sound right. So just really cute. This got 4.5 stars from me. I'm really enjoying this series. And then the last book that I read in September, finished it on September 30th, is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I also listened to this one. So this one follows, I gave this 4 stars. This follows Laurel, whose daughter Ellie went missing like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't remember exactly. Does it say? It's been 10 years. Okay. So her daughter Ellie has been missing 10 years. She disappeared when she was like 16, 18. I don't remember exactly how old she was. And like without a trace, like no clues as to what happened. Then like in the present day, like 10 years later, there's like a break in the case and they end up finding Ellie's body. And this like kind of stirs up like all of the stuff. Like Laurel's life has kind of like fallen apart. Like her and her husband split up. Her and her kids, her other two kids are kind of on the outs. And then finding Ellie's body kind of like reinvigorates Laurel to like see what like happened. At the same time that like this is all going on, Laurel meets this man. What is this guy's name? Why do I not remember it? Floyd. Meets this man Floyd, and they kind of start a relationship. And when like Floyd introduces Ellie to, not Ellie, Ellie's the daughter, introduces Laurel to his daughter Poppy, like Laurel is like taken aback because Poppy looks so much like Laurel's daughter Ellie, and she's like, whoa, like, and like the resemblance is uncanny. And you kind of follow along as Laurel finds some stuff out and figures out what actually happened to her daughter. So very, very interesting. I do have some complaints, some like flaws, and like, or not flaws, but like some complaints about this. First of all, and this is 100,000,000% my fault. I was on Goodreads and I saw that Chloe had read this, and I was like, oh, Chloe had always booked. Chloe and I have very similar reading tastes. Like we might not always give like books the same ratings, but like if she enjoys a book, I know that I'm going to enjoy it. And if she doesn't enjoy a book, I'm probably not going to enjoy it. And when we have done buddy reads, like our like thoughts line up like 100%. It's like, yep, I feel the exact same way. So I was like, oh, let me see what Chloe thinks about this. And so I'm like reading her review, and then Chloe very clearly states like spoilers ahead. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't really care about spoilers. And so I read Chloe's entire review. So I kind of knew some of the things that were coming up, which when you're reading like a mystery thriller type book, like I don't normally care about spoilers, but it did kind of ruin it. But that was like 100% my fault because Chloe clearly stated that like there were spoilers ahead. So all my fault. So I knew some of the stuff and I was like, how is this all going to play out? Which I think I would have liked to not have known that. Like some of the twists coming up, probably would have enjoyed it more if I didn't know what was coming. But again, that's all on me, 100%. Then like there are some things that happen, like the relationship between Laurel and her other daughter. I didn't really like, I can see how like losing a child and losing a sibling, it could put a strain on things, but it kind of seemed like a little bit like far-fetched for me. Like it was a little bit more strained than I think. I don't know. Like the way that like I could see a relationship being strained, but it really seemed like Laurel just like didn't even care about her other children. She was like like I lost my child and that's the only child that like mattered to me almost. Like the other two were just like whatever, which I didn't really enjoy. Again, I know I can see how losing a child could like alter the like family dynamics and put a strain on things, but that was a little bit like, I don't know. Then another thing that I kind of had an issue with, I can't really like go into details on, but like one of the twists kind of, I don't see how like it was feasible without like I don't know how to say this without giving stuff away, but like one of the twists, I think that it wasn't like, again, wasn't plausible. Again, I know that this is like a mystery and fiction, but like I feel like there would have been more questions than like what happened just like happening, being like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense, like totally like logical to me. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to question what you're doing at all. Like, if you've read it, I think you know what I'm talking about. Maybe, or I'm just being really, really vague. What I have to be, because if I told you what it was, it'd be spoilers. I just didn't find it, like, I don't know. It seemed like Ellie, it involves Ellie, and it seemed like Ellie was smarter than it comes across it, like at this moment in the book. Like there's every indication that Ellie was like not stupid and not totally clueless, and then this thing happened, and like I don't think, like I think she would have known what was going on and maybe done something more to fight it. I don't know. If yeah, that was a really bad explanation of that, but sorry, I have to be vague so I don't give away spoilers, because I don't want to give anything away, because I know what it's like to read this knowing what's going on. And you don't want to know everything. Anyways, so those are the 5 books that I read in September. Have you read any of these? Do you want to read any of them? Let me know. How is your October going? All that jazz. Talk to me down below. I'm trying to stay on top of my channel and whatnot. It's not going well. Work is really stressful and taking its toll on me. And so, yeah, hopefully I just get better at things. So sorry if I'm taking a while to respond to comments and whatnot. It's just, I'm exhausted by the end of every day. But I'm trying. I will respond to your comment. It might just be a little bit. Anyways, that is it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.